Good evening, everybody. My name is Shikshap and I'm from class 5th. I study in Thai Defense Academy. Today, my topic is the circulatory system, the respiratory system, and many more. So, let's start. Let's start by 1. The circulatory system. Okay? The circulatory system is the parts of the body and the different organs of the body that actually make blood go all around of the body. It's a body to entire. So let me explain. This is basically has only like 3 parts. Let's first part, our heart. Second part, our blood vessels. And third, well, there are only 3, but the lungs also help. You might be asking lungs in the respiratory system, which we'll learn later. But let's start with the heart, and later in the last I'll tell you why lungs are important. The heart is a sac-like organ the size of your fist. Like this is the size of my fist. This is basically the size of my heart. It pumps about averagely 13 billion times in your lifetime. That's a lot. Our heart has 4 parts and 2 types of parts, the ventricle and the atrium. The ventricle is the top part, and it's like a spiderweb, and the atrium is in the bottom sector of our heart. So, let me understand this. Basically, our heart's like a page with 4 parts. This can be the top parts. Let me write that. And these are the bottom parts. The top parts are the ventricles, V and T for short. And the bottom parts are atrium. This is the diagram. Now, basically, there are many vessels coming out. The aorta are the biggest of the veins, and others, like let's say pulmonary veins, they are basically the ones that go from the heart all the way to the lungs, and the pulmonary arteries are the ones that come back from the lungs that you may not understand yet. So these are the right ventricles and right atrium, and these are the left ventricle and the left atrium. Now, let me tell you what ventricle and atriums are. The ventricle is basically a spider-like structure, on the top sector of the ventricle. And the atriums are just like sacs, tiny sacs of a sac, tiny parts of sacs of a sac. That's basically what atriums are. Now, that might be the heart. It's very important for our blood circulatory. So, next, let's go to the veins. Veins and arteries. Those are the 2 types of blood vessels. Now, blood vessels, as I said right now, are of 2 types. One of them is the veins, which bring deoxygenated blood. Let me rub this off. I need space. The veins bring deoxygenated and blood. This is a sentence. The veins have only one work, or maybe two, if you go for the common one. The veins bring deoxygenated blood, that means carbon dioxide, full blood from our entire body, all the way to our hearts. And that is what the veins do. And next is the arteries. They are the ones that take the blood all the way to the entire body in 60 seconds, in fact. This is what I write. Take oxygenated blood from the heart. That's basically what they have to do. That's basically. Now, this might be the only meaning of the veins and arteries. The largest artery is the aorta, and the largest vein is the vein, I guess. This might be what you think. This not is the only ones. There are also two more types. Let me rub this off to give space for that. Okay. There's also a word called pulmonary. Let me write that down. This means this also has two types called the pulmonary veins and arteries. Let's start with veins. They do the work of arteries, I guess. They actually take the deoxygenated blood from the heart. Like, this is our heart, this is the blood, and it takes this blood all the way to the lungs with the veins, the pulmonary veins. Let's call it Paul for short. Okay? The pulmonary veins bring the deoxygenated blood from the heart all the way to the lungs. And from there, the oxygen that we breathe goes inside the blood and then brings it back to the heart, and then it goes every single place in our body via the arteries. That's why I said the lungs are very important in our circulatory system. Okay? Now, the pulmonary arteries are completely opposite.